Okaeri nasai minasan. Today we're gonna talk about the Jyamato rider that has been teased to us in the magazine of Kamen Rider Geats, and it is really interesting because in order for us to really understand what is actually happening here, we need to go through episode 1 until episode 9 all over again. So what do we learn in episode 1 of Kamen Rider Geats? We learn that Jyamato have an intellect, they have the capability to communicate, they have their own language, and they are smart. Okay, they actually have the capability to use a weapon in a battle itself, and we know why is this the case? Because in every single game, the weapon they use is different. Sometimes they use a spear, sometimes they use a sword, sometimes they don't even use any weapon at all. So this clearly shows us that Jyamato are smart and they are capable to communicate with one another. And in episode 2, what do we actually learn about the Jyamato? One of the boss Jyamato actually have the capability to speak Japanese word. Okay, so this is really interesting because it further emphasizes the ability for Jyamato to have an intellect, and they actually have the ability to think. And in episode 3, this is really crucial because Keiwa asks Sumori, hey, why is the soul of Ginpan? And Sumori only said, Jyamato knows. We do not know. And this is actually really interesting because at episode 3, when we learn about this information, we do not know how to use it. We do not know where to actually put this information to be used of. But right now, we actually have the possibility that maybe the Jyamato is collecting the souls of the rider, or maybe the body of the rider, because the entire body got teleported out from the Jama area to as another location, and we do not know where is that location, but we would assume that that is actually the headquarters of the Jyamato itself. And from there, they start to do some experiment on the body of the rider itself, because one thing we know for a fact is that the rider didn't actually die before they got deleted. Okay, they are on the verge of dying. Their ID code cracked and they got teleported out from the DGP area itself. It is very similar to how Keiwa got removed from the DGP itself. He suffered a serious injury, but his ID code is safe. So he didn't actually got claimed by the Jyamato, but instead he got claimed by the DGP itself. So this is two different, like when you got claimed by the Jyamato, your color of teleportation is gonna be red, but when you got claimed by the DGP itself, your teleportation color is gonna be blue color. Okay, so two different color, very crucial stuff. And moving on, in episode 9, very crucial stuff, we learn that the Jyamato actually have the ability to adapt, improvise, and evolve. Okay, basically they are the Bear Grylls of Jyamato. If you actually allow them to survive, they are able to evolve into a species that is capable to really possibly take over the world. And this is really interesting stuff, because one thing we need to understand is that the Jyamato is evil. Okay, they are definitely the villain here in the show, even though we don't actually see a lot of personality from the Jyamato so far. But I believe that in the future, we're gonna see more and more Jyamato like having the ability to think, having the ability to kind of invade the DGP even. Why this is the case, why this is my theory and speculation, it is because we know for a fact that Jyamato are actually designed based out of a chess pieces, and we will surely one day meet the king and the queen of Jyamato. And by the time we meet them, we are gonna learn a whole lot about them. We're gonna learn where they actually come from, who are they. Maybe they used to be human. Okay, maybe they used to be human, we do not know, but for some reason, because of the DGP, someone wished them to become Jyamato, wished them to become monster or something like that. That is a speculation, but this is really interesting. And because they kept losing to the Kamen Rider, they keep losing to the participants of the DGP DGP itself, the Jyamato figure out that, hey, shit, we need a way to overcome the rider, and that is why they actually start to snatch some dead body of the rider, and they start to do some experiment on them, and now they actually figured out a way to turn a rider into a Jyamato, but still having the capability and the ability of a rider itself. Like, they still have the rider suit on, so I believe like the additional punch, the additional agility, the additional strength of the rider suit actually provided them would actually carry it over to the Jyamato itself. And I would assume that this Jyamato rider also have the capability to use a rise buckle if they actually is smart enough. Okay, so this is very interesting stuff, and I don't know, man, like what does this mean to the overall story? Does this mean that the DGP is actually the good guy? I would say no, not necessarily, because one thing we still I have a theory that I would like to share here. Maybe you guys can like let me know in the comment section below. Let the comment be a discussion, okay? I don't want I don't want the comment to be like oh, you are wrong, but let's have a discussion. What if that the DGP is no, okay, let me start the theory like this. Imagine the DGP as an organization, and in every organization there is different department, and so far what we see in the DGP is the rider department, and that is why we only see all the Kamen Rider, we only see Sumori, and we only see Gilori, and because they are involved and they are in charge of the rider department of the DGP. What if the Jyamato also have their own department? Because why do I say this? Is like the teleportation light, the effect is the exact same effect, okay? Like it is the same white light, and it's the same red light and the same blue light, just different color. So I would assume that the DGP is actually in charge of this teleportation device, and when the red light happen, it means that this body belongs to the Jyamato, and the blue light means that this body still belongs to the DGP, something like that. And it's still to the rider department and the Jyamato department, something like that. So they are both under the umbrella of the DGP itself, but they are both in different departments, and the both of them have their own king and have their own queen. Okay, so the Jyamato have their king and queen, and in the rider department we actually got Sumori and Gilori, in a sense the kind of like the king and queen of the rider department, something like that. So this is kind of like my theory on what does this corrupted Jyamato rider actually represent. It means a evolution of the Jyamato, but it also gives us a deeper understanding that, hey, the Jyamato is not stupid, and they actually have the capability to be kind of like the mid-season boss, or maybe like the final boss of the series itself. Because one thing that is lacking in Kamen Rider Geats right now is the missing villain. There is no final villain in the show yet. We don't actually see who is gonna be the final big bad that our rider is gonna face off. And I really believe and I really want it to be the king and queen of the Jyamato itself. Like seeing how the Jyamato starts to starts to learn about the rider, start to imitate the rider, start to imitate their enemy. It really makes me believe that at the end of the day, we are gonna get what we are being promised, a rider versus rider show. You know, it is gonna rider battle royale. The Jyamato have their own rider. In a sense, it's kind of like a gladiator fight. Like the Jyamato is gonna choose their champion, and the human is gonna choose their champion, and they're gonna fight with one another in a finale fight, something like that. If that is how the series ends, it is gonna be epic because we're gonna see a lot of crazy action pieces, but we also gonna see a lot of awful CGI. But then again, I don't mind. I love it. This is Kamen Rider Geats, okay? Really, really amazing stuff. But like I just want to emphasize before I end the video, everything I said is a theory, is a speculation. I just want to throw my idea out there to kind of like make the ball rolls so that all of us can actually start talking about it. Okay, so keep the Kamen Rider Geats ship afloat, man. Everyone has been talking about Black Sun recently, but I'm still here talking about Geats. Let us not forget about Geats. Okay, so that is all from me. Hope you enjoy, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next one. Goodbye.